Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another Legendary Luke video. Today's video is going to be about tips and tricks that every pro player knows which you probably do not. They range from hidden rooms on the map to special strafes to revealing the final zone before the first ring even closes. But there's one thing that every tip and trick in this video has in common. They all are actually useful in game. When I started researching this video, it was just going to be a regular tips and tricks video. But then I realized something. A lot of the tips and tricks I would show are incredibly niche and not actually very useful. So I instead decided to modify the video to include pro tips and tricks, which I can guarantee will actually be useful to you in game. Each one I either learned directly from a professional player or found by analyzing their gameplay. So I suggest you stick around because just by watching the rest of this video and paying attention, you will become a better Apex Legends player. The first trick is one that will save you from third parties while simultaneously making your teammates trust you more. If you've ever noticed in pro and high level gameplay, after a fight is finished and a teammate is being revived, they will drop their Evo shield right next to the revived player. Immediately as the player gets up, they can grab the shield instantly. It deters third parties and makes it way harder for that player to get re-knocked. And most of the time, the player that dropped the Evo shield can just shield swap from one of the death boxes, so it won't be detrimental to them. Definitely a super useful trick that you see pros using consistently. Similarly, you can drop the armors out of death boxes for easier shield swapping. To grab a fresh armor off the ground is one easy button press, whereas when it's in a death box, you have to open the box, scroll to the armor, and then click on it. Not to mention, you can actually move armors this way, so it's a good trick to use when you're holding a position and have extra armor available to you. One of the changes made with the arrival of Season 14 was updates to the zone. The ring now closes quicker and faster, so you get caught up in taking ring damage a lot more often now. Luckily, it is also now a lot easier to time medkits and phoenix kits, and here's how. If you start your medkit right at when your health bar reaches the first shield mark, it will allow you to get perfect timing on your medkits. This works in zones 1, 2, and 3, but be aware that past zone 3 closing it will not work, but you usually will not be in the zone this late anyway. If you want the absolute perfect timing for your medkit, you can wait 2 zone ticks after your health bar reaches the first shield bar point. This will make it very close though, so if you mess up the timing by even 1 ring tick, you're dead. The timing for a phoenix kit is very similar. Starting 1 tick before that first shield bar will get you the perfect timing for a phoenix kit, so no more excuses for tying to zone. Another useful trick to help you get out of zone is by putting heat shields on Vantage's Echo and the tridents found around the map. Most people don't know, but if you or a teammate is playing Vantage, you can actually put a heat shield onto Echo. It'll stay attached and you can then recall Echo and have a moving heat shield. Likewise, you can put a heat shield onto a trident. Most people know about this trick, but they don't know how to actually do it. To properly place the heat shield so it sticks onto the trident, crouch down and look at the area in between the step and the main body of the trident. When you throw the heat shield, it should stick and allow you to drive it with the heat shield still attached. As we all know, Season 14 brought the removal of the gold knockdown self-res ability. The gold knockdown shield now has the Guardian Angel ability, where reviving teammates will grant them with extra health and shield, which means that the gold backpack now lets you stack extra big heals. Just like before, the Guardian Angel ability, which is now linked to the gold knockdown shield, should always go to the Lifeline, Gibraltar, or Newcastle on the team. But a mistake I see people making now is carrying both the gold backpack and gold Evo shield. If you think about it, the gold backpack is meant for big heals, and the gold Evo shield is meant for small heals. So it just makes no sense to have both at once. If you do find yourself carrying both at once, definitely drop one or the other to a teammate, because having both really does you no good anyway. You may have noticed that there's this vent in the caustic treatment POI on Kings Canyon. It's a great place to hide or heal in, but it is also the entrance to a secret room. If you're playing either as Caustic or Watson, you can unlock this secret room and access it from the vent. You might have remembered there was a teaser here a while back, but I feel like it has kind of been forgotten about since then. Carrying grenades is something that is often overlooked by most casual players, but fully understood by pros. It gets easy to fill your inventory with a bountiful amount of ammo and plenty of meds, but forget about grenades. If you ever watch pro games, the IGL will oftentimes yell at their teammates to pick up grenades. TSM Imperial HAL is perhaps most famous for this, for good reason. Pro players understand that grenades are an incredibly useful tool for applying pressure to opponents and dealing damage where otherwise wouldn't be possible. Having a full team carrying 3+ grenades makes them so much more dangerous than just carrying a few by yourself. I would highly recommend you learn from the pros and pick up grenades, and also remind your teammates to as well. If you ever are in need of grenades, you can actually do an armory with no weapons equipped. If 1 or 2 players on the team drop their weapons right before all the guards are defeated, those players' loot bins will contain only arc stars, frag grenades, and thermites. So it's an easy way of obtaining a large amount of ordnances at once if you need to. Another great grenade trick you can make use of is the grenades through doors trick. If you didn't know, you can actually sneak grenades through the top and bottom corners of a door. Just look right at the top or bottom corner near the door hinges and throw the grenade there. It'll explode on the other side of the door without hitting you. This trick is usually most useful when someone is holding a door and standing or healing behind it. If they turn and run, you can shoot them in the back, and if they stay there, they will take the damage from the grenade. So either way, it's a win-win. Also, the door will blow off as soon as the grenade explodes, so you can take your opponent off guard. A lot of people do not know about a thing called stealth clicking. Stealth clicking is actually the most reliable way to get Jump Master consistently, and is a very useful trick to know, especially for solo queuers. Normally, when you want to get Jump Master, you simply select your legend and hope no one else does the same. By default, the game will give Jump Master to the last person who manually selected their legend, with the thought being that they are the least likely to be AFK. However, a lot of times your randoms or even teammates would prefer to be Jump Master, so they also manually select their legend. What you can do when it is your turn to choose a legend is wait right until the end of the allotted time and then click on your legend. It will give the illusion that you did not actually manually select a legend, but instead the game chose for you, even though that's not what happened. Your teammates will then be way less likely to select their own legend, thinking there is no need. This move has been dubbed stealth clicking, and gets you Jump Master an average of 77% of the time, compared to the 58% of the time that just normally clicking does. One of the best Apex Legends strafes of all times is called the Raz strafe. It is named after the professional Japanese player known for his crazy movement. It is one of the most useful strafes to know, and will increase your 1v1 win rate massively. The idea of it is to change direction quickly and sharply near the enemy to completely throw them off. There's a ton of different variations and varieties of Raz strafing, but the basic one everyone should know goes like this. You start by holding a direction key, so either A or D. Right before you jump, let go of that key and start a tap strafe in the opposite direction. You then press W, then quickly A or D, whichever one is the opposite key from the one you pressed before, and lastly S, your backwards input. So if you wanted to Raz strafe left, you would start by running right and holding A. You would slide jump, releasing A, tap strafe, and quickly press the W, D, and S keys in sequence. This will give you that quick, sharp directional change that makes your movement impossible to predict up close. Your movement pattern should look something like this. After watching this video, I would recommend searching for an in-depth Raz strafing guide on YouTube, and after some practice in the firing range, you should be able to get it. I cannot stress the importance of Raz strafing enough. It is a super useful move to learn that you will see almost every pro player use in their gameplay. My favorite way to apply it in the game is to reload. You can pull this move off even while reloading to make yourself less of an easy target, but it's just an amazing move overall. On the subject of movement, if you've ever watched Fade, Asu, or any other movement god, you've probably noticed that they are really good on ziplines. I've broken down and explained a lot of zipline movement tech on my channel in the past, but in this video I just want to go over one underrated zipline trick. Part of the reason these movement gods are so good on ziplines is they know how to go down them as quickly as they know how to go up. The trick here is crouching as you get on the zipline. So it looks like this. You press your interact button while crouching and then disengage from the zipline as quickly as possible. It's the same technique as zipline bouncing up the zipline, except you hold crouch while doing it. This is super important to know in all the buildings with a zipline shaft, like the streamer building in Fragment East. Using this trick will allow you to go down floor super quickly and make you seem like a movement god. This next trick might get patched eventually because I don't think the developers meant for this to be a thing, but you can actually reveal the second to last ring at the very beginning of the game. If you scan a survey beacon before the first ring is revealed, it will give you the second to last one instead. For this to work, you have to do it quickly, so you pretty much have to land on the survey beacon right out of the dropship, but it's certainly worth it for the information you obtain. This is definitely a trick I would make full use of in ranked, at least for the time being. If you think about it, you rarely see pro players reloading an empty mag. If you didn't know, in Apex you actually reload a magazine with one or more bullets faster than one without any bullets at all. So the tip here is to only fully use up your magazine if the last bullet would knock or eliminate the player you are shooting at. Otherwise, just holding onto that last 1 or 2 bullets will benefit you with the faster reload, and emptying your mag will punish you with a slower one. Another thing I don't see people doing enough is upgrading their Evo shields at replicators. With the new changes, crafting materials are shared in the team, so in general you should have more. In addition, upgrading your Evo shield from blue to purple is not very hard, and is something you should fully utilize. You see pro players do it almost every game, so why shouldn't you? When you upgrade your Evo shield, it also comes out full on shield, no matter if it was like that before. So you can pretty much use it as a shield battery if you need to. Most players don't know this, but the EVA 8 and Mozambique are full auto weapons. That means you can hold your finger on the fire button instead of clicking and they will shoot automatically. Holding down fire instead of clicking will allow you to shoot as fast as possible with no room for human error. It also lets you put full focus into aiming. Definitely don't only hold fire or only point and click when using the EVA 8 and Mozam. Mixing the two will bring you the best results with these shotguns. The problem with Loba's ult is that it only allows you to take 2 items besides ammo. If you want more than 2 items, you can use this trick. Ping the item you want and exit the black market. An indicator will appear on the black market with the loot you pinged. Ping that indicator and hold down your ping button, and a line will be drawn to exactly where that piece of loot is, which you can walk and get. You might need to continue holding ping as you're walking to get the loot. If you let go, the line will disappear. So using this method, you can easily know where any loot is in the radius of the black market. The gravity cannons on Stormpoint are not as one-directional as people think. I know they nerfed tap strafing off them, but you can still get creative and use them in other ways. This gravity cannon allows for really easy height, for example. You can just crouch up behind it and it will launch you in the opposite direction it is supposed to for easy high ground or flanking. It is pretty common knowledge for Apex players that you should be dolphin diving off of the dropship to reach further locations. Dolphin diving is just moving down then quickly back up again, and this allows you to go a longer way. What most people don't do is use dolphin diving off of jump towers and Valkyrie's ultimate. People always question how I get so far on jump towers, and it is simply because I dolphin dive off of them. You can only do it once or twice, but it still gets you a lot more distance than diving normally. It especially gets me when Valkyrie players don't do this when using their ultimate. Guys, you've gotta stop doing this. The whole point is to get somewhere and go distance. So for Valkyrie mains, this trick is especially important to know and use. The last pro trick of the day is an old one, but a good one. If you already know it, then I'll just remind you that combining a jump with your melee is way better than a melee without a jump. For one, it is faster. The player using the jump technique will always beat the player not using it off drop. For two, it gives you extra aim lock. For some reason, jump kicking will lock onto players from farther range and is way more consistent when it does. I'm not really sure why, but it just does. So always remember to combo your melee with a jump. The pros do. That was 19 pro Apex Legends tips and tricks. If you learned something new or just enjoyed the video, I would love it if you could like and subscribe. I would also highly encourage you to check out the rest of the content on my channel. I have a ton of really useful videos that just by watching, not even playing the game, just watching the video will make you a better Apex player. Have a great rest of your day and thank you for watching.